Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Right now is one of the best times ever to be playing Raid Shadow Legends. There are so many freebies happening right now. I think if you started playing Raid today, you would be getting 3 legendaries, which is huge. It's some really good ones, actually. 3 epics and a rare champion that you pick right out of the gate. Now, this is going to apply to everybody right here. Starting July 3rd, there's going to be a 7-day login calendar to get Legendaries, which is going to be a legendary character that looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the thing I like about these legendary champions that have logins is that there is good access to red stars. You can see here on day 14, there's going to be 2 red stars, and then phase 2 will extend that even further, although it gets a little bit more complicated past the 14th day to get the rest of the red stars. But let me tell you, it is worth it. Getting the red stars on the bonus champion or the free champion is a big deal, and I recommend playing, and a lot of that will be accomplished through normal gameplay. Now, the first thing that you do is you use the link in the description or scan the QR code, and this is going to get you started off right with Corrado Fox Hunter, who's right there on the screen, which is a legendary. Then we got Tagar, which has a team revive. Ugo, which has a whole bunch of stuff, debuff down, healing, and also blockability. Then Lady Annabelle, which is amazing in Doom Tower. And then we're going to talk about these promo codes. On the screen there, I showed Sun Wukong, but that guy is going away soon. And that's why it's kind of important to make the consideration of which one's the best to pick right now. Now, first things first, when you start playing the game, you're given an option of selecting one of 4 rare champions. Frankly, there are no bad choices here. Whichever one you pick is going to serve you well in the very early game. And frankly, as you stumble upon other characters, you will find that you won't be using any one of these 4 that often. Now, the one that I got the most use out of in early game was Kale, without a doubt, because of a couple things. Actually, 2 reasons. And then one reason that I still use him today. But the first reason is he's a great campaign farmer, which is the primary track when you start playing the game. And then 2, actually can do some decent damage on clan boss, which is the Demon Lord, which is going to be one of the early game things to get through and get good rewards on a daily basis. Actually, amazing rewards on a daily basis once you get through the Ultra Nightmare. The other thing too is that there is quests that happen on a weekly basis that require using a rare champion inside the Demon Lord, and Kale is a perfect fit for that. Absolutely is a perfect fit for that. I'm glad that I picked Kale, and because of those weekly quests, I'm still using Kale all the time. Then in the first 24 hours, this is very, very, very important. In the first 24 hours, you got to use a promo code. And the promo code will give you one of the following legendaries. We're going to go over the ones here on the screen. And then there's also this one who's super important to talk about. But what I mean by that is that if you're on the PC client or on Android, you'll be able to go in game right here and enter a promo code. You just type in the promo code. The promo codes are here on the screen. And I got to say, this is one of the most important things to do. And you got to do it within the 24 hours of start playing the game. The other thing too is do not use a different promo code other than the ones that are for legendaries, because then you're locked out. There's a bunch of other little promo codes that give nice little gifts, but not an amazing legendary. Now, on iOS, you have to go to the Plarium website where you can enter your player ID code and the promo code. Now, I want to go over these legendary champions because there are some really good ones here, and there's some that are not. Now, Loki is gone, which was probably one of my least favorites anyways. Then we've got Alice, the Wanderer, Tuhanarok, or Haktuhanarok, I don't know how to say it. We got Monkey King, Sun Wukong, and then we've got a Sylvan Watcher, Taunter Tank. And then they just added this one right here, Demon Slayer, for Tholan, who is the current fusion, and this is the hot stuff right now. And I think for most people, it's going to be a choice between Demon Slayer or Desert Queen or Sun Wukong. Now, I want to talk about Sun Wukong first because he's my absolute favorite champion in Raid Shadow Legends. And the way I see it, this guy is being used by in-game players almost constantly. One of the better champions in the game. I can't stress to you how much damage this guy can do. And he is the epitome of a glass cannon. But what makes him especially annoying is that he really doesn't die. you don't have to mod him for health or defense or anything like that, because he revives after 3 turns, whether it's your opponent's turns or your turns. He just comes back to life over and over and over again, and he comes back with full turn meter. And sometimes your opponent has to react to that right away, and then he deletes teams. He does so much damage. He also has one of these, only a couple characters have this. I think there's like 4 total characters have this in the game, where it will attack all remaining enemies with surplus damage. Ignoring defense is the surest way to do tons of damage in Raid Shadow Legends. In fact, most of the mods and the equipment and the artifacts and the relics and things that I put on are solely around avoiding the defense. And then the surplus damage explodes the rest of the team. This guy's king in Arena. He has an aura for Arena, which will eventually be replaced by Arbiter once you get Arbiter. And Arbiter is going to be one of the main goals, if you will, when you start playing the game, is get through the Arbiter missions. But Sun Wukong is over the top good. Absolutely one of the best characters of the game. And currently, that is my recommendation. Sun Wukong. I talked to a lot of in-game players, and they say Sun Wukong, mostly because of this right here. This surplus damage just gets bonkers. There's other things too right here. Block buffs right here, and then he steals all of the buffs, so he takes away all the positive effects on the other team and then puts a block buff, and then he gets all of them. It's super, super helpful inside of Hydra. And then also on his basic, he has a chance of stun. And if you do the masteries on him where he counterattacks, like if he loses 25% of his health, and he's modded with no health, right? You don't put a lot of health on because you don't need. That happens all the time. And he's counterattacking and stunning them. This guy has everything. He's easily the pick for me, right? I just want to say, I've done a lot of research on all of them. All these characters that we're going to talk about, I've done tons of research on them. And he is my favorite. Now, you can see on here that I have a 1-star on him right here. And I have Alice the Wanderer up here. And she's actually my highest powered champion next to Lady Mikage. And there's a couple of reasons why I don't think she's as good as Sun Wukong. She is one of the better campaign farmers. She does a ton of damage. She has this great ability right here that hits the whole group, and she reduces cooldowns, which is super useful in Arena and going around Stone Skin. Here's the deal, though. I have her at 5 red, and I have Sun Wukong at what is that, 2 red on him? I don't even know. Yeah, 2 red. I'll take Sun Wukong all day long. All day long over Alice. I do think Alice is good in different kinds of ways, but frankly, because whenever you use the promo code, you're not going to get the reds. I don't think I would put Alice in the same category at all if they had the same number of reds. And I'm in a situation where Sun Wukong has 2 and she has 5, and I still think Sun Wukong's a lot better. She does some pretty cool things, though. This is my favorite thing, is increasing the cooldowns. Bypasses Stone Skin, and then they reset cooldowns, so she's mostly very useful against waves. This is like a double tap. This takes away positive effects. Her leadership ability, I gotta be frank with you, I've never really used the attack aura. I think this game is all about turn meter and speed. And in Arena, that's very useful. And then in other game modes, I'm almost certainly using characters that say something like this: increase speed in all battles, right? So I just think that that's not one to consider. Now, I want to talk about Desert Queen right here, which is the one that I think is the hardest champion to get. Now, what I mean by that is in Raid Shadow Legends, there's basically 3 affinities that are relatively easy to get, and that would be Spirit, Force, and Magic. And those are going to be the standard affinities, right? You can see like here is a Force champion. All right, here, Force. We got Magic, Force, and we got Spirit. Now, the ones that are super rare and hard to get and to step up are going to be the Void champions. And so, Tuhanerak, however you say her name, is a Void champion support. Now, this is going to be the hardest champion to get out of all the champions. Like, if you don't choose her, you're probably not going to stumble across her, because they just come through Void Shards, and Void Shards have like a 1% chance of a legendary. And then, are you going to get this one, right? It's very low. Actually, it's a 0.5%. but then they have double chances sometimes and goes up to 1%. Her kit is very good. She's support. And the reason what I'm saying about support is, like, when you use the promo code, you're going to get some support champions right out of the gate. And support champions are going to be very good. And generally, what I have found in my journey in Raid Shadow Legends is that I have built up a cast of support epic champions that I've gotten through normal gameplay. And it feels like over time I'm getting a lot of them, and they do different things for different places. She's going to be useful in a lot of different places. First thing right here. Remove 1 random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn. There's an epic champion that does something similar to that called Doom Priest, but then this ups it a little bit right here. Removes 1 random debuff instead of from all allies under continuous heal. So what happens is that, let's just say she gets stunned. Nope, it just comes right off. This is a good ability. Okay, let's keep going. Right here, decrease attack and block buffs. Block buffs is going to be super important because Hydra, if they get positive effects, you're going to lose. So this is going to be super helpful in Hydra. In a Hydra match, you pretty much have to take a champion with block buffs. So of the champions we've talked about so far, Ugo does that, and so does Sun Wukong. And that's kind of why I recommend Sun Wukong, because he can do that and a lot of damage, where she's going to do something kind of nice here. Decreased attack is useful, block buffs. Also taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. That's good. Debuff spread is fantastic, right? But I kind of like what Monkey King Sun Wukong does is he takes away all the buffs, puts them on himself, and then he puts the block buff. That is fantastic. I just like that guy. And right here, it places a 60% increased defense buff and a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Super, super helpful. Again, the game is all about turn meter, and giving increased speed is bonkers good. This is a really, really good champion. And then lastly, what makes her over the top good is her basic has a decreased speed and then the continuous heal. The continuous heal will go on her and 1 other champion, and then that's going to trigger her passive to do 2. I think this is an excellent, excellent choice. And also, she is going to be a lot harder to come by long term. I really do think that. But I'm all about the damage. That's why I like Sun Wukong, and I can't imagine playing Raid Shadow Legends without Sun Wukong. Next, we got to talk about this guy, and it's really hard for me to make a case for this guy right here. Ruak is a free, like a taunting tank right here, passively. Valley loses 10% max HP from single hit. Place a shield buff on the ally for 2 turns equal to 10% of the max HP. That's cool. Certainly useful. Attack all enemies. Has an 8% chance of placing decreased attack. Fine. Also steals all continuous heals, enemy buffs from each enemy. That cannot be resisted. Definitely useful. And he's a defense damage-based character. They don't really do a lot of damage usually. Places taunt buff, decreased buff, and a 25% strength buff on this champion for 2 turns. But that's not for the whole team. Like, if this went to the whole team, you know how good that would be? And then lastly, what do we got? Lastly, I just think if this went to the whole team, then I'd be super excited about this. Attack when I transfer all debuffs from this champion to the target, heals the champion by 5% of the max HP for each turn. So it's the taunting, right? The taunting is what's going to make him super useful, right? Place a taunt buff, increase debuff, and strengthen buff champion, but not placing the strengthen and increased defense on the rest of the team just doesn't really do it for me. And I think of the champions here on this screen right here, that would be the one that I would choose the least, leaning to Desert Queen and Monkey King. Now, Monkey King goes to the end of June, and Desert Queen will be good for a couple more months. I don't have the exact date here on the screen. Lastly, we got to talk about Tholan, who is the fusion, and this pissed a lot of people off, let me tell you, because right now I am grinding my butt away at this guy. I got him unlocked, but boy, it was a challenge. And he is proving to be a damage dealer. Now, not a lot of utility, and doesn't have the cool revive mechanic like Sun Wukong, but he does have damage. And damage is useful for sure, but without the utility, he just does damage. I think, well, I'm playing with this guy. He does a lot of damage, which is good. I'm going to be able to use him in a lot of different places, specifically getting bosses. And so the Demon Breaker abilities is basic. His basic is crazy, where It applies weaken, and it's an AoE weaken, but if he puts weaken on everybody, he gets to take another turn. Here's the thing, though, that it's not resistible by corrupted, which is about a quarter of the characters in the game and bosses. So every time you do a basic, he's going to have a chance. He's going to take another turn, right? Grants another turn, a weaken debuff was placed on all enemies by this skill. And there's going to be a percent chance now. It's not 50% chance, and then it's going to go up a little bit here, 75% chance. So eventually he's not going to take a turn. And you're going to want to do the other one because this is where he gets increased attack. And this is the one that does a lot of the damage. And then again, it has the ignore defense. So yeah, this guy is defense. This guy is attack. Attack. He's great. I'm going to be playing him more. But I don't know if he's as game-breaking as some Wukong. And I don't know if he has the insane amount of utility as her. So you got a lot of great choices. Now, I think that if you're watching this video after the end of June, I think you're going to either consider Desert Queen, or if you want to do Control, and the fact that she's a lot harder to get. And then right here, Demon Slayer will be for massive amounts of damage. All right, if you haven't done so already, get your journey started off today. Essentially, you're going to get 3 legendaries, 3 epics, and 1 rare by using the code. You can use the link in the description or scan the QR code, and you will be on your way. All right, bye for now, and thanks for watching.